Alright, hello ladies and gentlemen, HeavenClone here and how y'all doing, bringing you guys another Fortnite video. So we're back with another location guide, and today we're going to be covering the second of the 4 legendary landing spots, Pleasant Park. I'm going to be giving you guys a general overview of the place, callouts to help you better communicate with your team, and landing and looting strategies to ensure you have a pleasant time exterminating your enemies. Let's begin. Location overview. So Pleasant Park is what you'd call a suburban neighborhood, home to lots of longer range engagements with close range house-to-house combat thrown into the mix. It is possible to succeed with almost any weapon in the settlement if you stick to the areas where it excels. It has a total of 16 chest locations, making it one of the top places to land. However, some downsides to it are that it tends to be a highly contested location, it is often a long way from the circle, and teams oftentimes land in the surrounding areas and visit Pleasant Park later on, which means you always have to watch your back. All in all, Pleasant Park gets an 8 out of 10 from me. It's a place I don't mind landing, but I'd rather land in other places like Greasy Grove or Retail Row, which have a mid-game which is much more fulfilling. Callouts. Alright, so moving on with the callouts portion of the video, we're gonna be, is that someone else over there? Okay, good. I'm like freaking out right now because I just landed Pleasant and I had to kill 7 people just to clear it out, just so I could do the callouts for you guys. And actually, lots of people came from like different approaches, from landing in the back over here to the northeast, or northwest actually, of Pleasant just to get over to me, and well, I had to kill those guys. So I'm gonna go over the callouts of the video. We're gonna be going essentially in a circular pattern around Pleasant Park, and from that essentially I'm just gonna call out all the buildings for you guys so you guys know what they're called when I refer to them in the future sections of the video. All right. So first off here we have Treehouse. This is actually one of my favorite landing spots. We call it Treehouse because it has like a broken tree on it, right? It actually has it's one of the houses, I think it's the house with the most chests or chest locations in all of Pleasant Park, so it's a really good place to land because you can get a lot of loot right off the bat. Next off here we have blue houses, right? So blue houses are split into 2. We have 2 of them. So how we differentiate them is we essentially have a small blue house and big blue house, right? Because this blue house is actually bigger than that one, right? It may not seem it, but that's just how we differentiate them, right? Most people, that's how they do it, or they'll call it the north blue house and the south blue house, things like that. Essentially, it's all logical, right? Moving on here, we have the red brick house. So this house is, well, it's a red brick house. What can I say? It's pretty straightforward, all right? And then we have the white and brown brick house. So it's white and it's brown and it's brick. Boom, all right? And then after that we have Doghouse. So Doghouse, just like in Greasy Grove, which I actually covered in the previous video. So if you guys want to check that out, go check out my channel. And well, yeah, I have a guide for that location as well. So this is Doghouse because guess what? It has a doghouse here, which someone actually broke and got the chest in it. But yeah, there's a doghouse with a chest in it. This is actually another really good landing spot if you're going for Pleasant, because I think it has nearly or just as many chest locations as Treehouse over there. All right, it's really good. Typically I'll try not to land here though, because you can get attacked from several angles, because you'll have people landing over at Modern House rushing over here right away pretty much, and then you'll have people landing at Red Brick and Small House, or actually, yeah, that's another name for this place. We call it Small House as well, because it's like the smallest house in Pleasant, and it actually really is small. So yeah, so white and brown brick or Small House, whichever one you prefer. But yeah, people will land there, they'll land over here, they'll collapse on you, and you'll get attacked from 2 directions, right? So it's not very good. Meanwhile, Treehouse, most of the time you only have people coming from the blue houses into the tree houses, or normally it's actually you that goes from the tree house to the blue houses. So yeah, after here we've got a gas station, pretty self-explanatory. It doesn't have much good loot, but occasionally you could land up here and get some loot. It's not that good though. And then after that you've got what is this? Basement house. Yeah, because essentially this has a basement. It's the only house in Pleasant that really has it. Well, actually, Treehouse has a basement, but it's called Treehouse. So this one we call it Basement House, or Blue House by Modern as well, is what some people call out. Because, you know, as long as your callouts are logical and they get the point across, and people can't mistake like your callout with another location around, like near it, it's okay. Like for example, you could call this a big house near the gas station, and that would still work, right? But Doghouse is just quicker. Again, Small House or Small house is actually quicker, and I think I use that more than actual like white and brown brick house. I actually use that in Greasy Grove. So yeah, so then you've got blue house over here, and you've got modern over here. This is modern house, right? Because it looks all modern and stuff. It's actually it's okay to land, but I wouldn't recommend it just because it's so open. You have to like push through open areas just to get to the actual good loot of Pleasant Park. And then you've got soccer field here. Anyways, I've got to go because the storm's closing in on me and it's gonna kill me. All right, so yeah, let's move on to the next section of the video. Landing and looting strategies. When it comes to landing and looting in Pleasant Park, it can get quite difficult to understand and predict enemy movements if you don't understand the lay of the land. Starting off with the landing paths, on screen now there should be a color-coded picture of Pleasant Park in which the green areas are ideal to open your glider, the orange ones are okay but not ideal, and the red ones are areas to avoid at all costs. Essentially, you just want to open your glider over the lowest possible point to land first to get loot before other players. For looting strategies, we need to first look at the chest distribution to understand the reasoning behind where we want to land. So here we can see that the chests in Pleasant Park are focused around an L shape around the east and north sides, especially in Doghouse and Treehouse. As such, our primary looting route is going to be around that L shape, with the remaining chests to be obtained at your discretion or as you leave the area or finish looting everything that's in the L shape. From this loot density, we can see two buildings, which just so happen to be at the edges of the L shape, which have a lot of chests, Treehouse and Doghouse. Therefore, logically, it would be best to land at one of those 2 points to have the highest probability of having chests, then make your way through the L shape and get the extra chests on the outskirts of Pleasant Park and get out. This loot route will definitely be highly contested, however, so if you're going to do it, be ready for a fight. An alternate route, which is okay but not the best, is to land at modern and get the extra chests before moving on to the L shape. This loot is average, but less people will land with you. Now, while the loot in Pleasant may be good, the downsides of landing there make it worse than places like Greasy Grove and Retail Row. First off, because it's so close to Loot Lake, it can often become tedious to have to walk all the way around it, and there isn't much loot to get during that time, resulting in you wasting your time while other teams keep looting. Secondly, there are so many secondary approach routes where people land outside of Pleasant and then loot and then come into Pleasant afterwards to get more loot that you're never really safe while there. At any time, there could be players coming into Pleasant to shoot you from behind. Alright, that's all I have for you, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you learned something useful. If so, give the video a like, and if you haven't already, click the subscribe button to stay up to date with my Fortnite tutorials. Anyways, I'll see you in the next one.